Welcome back everyone. This is Dr. Mohammed Awais and you're watching Dr. Square. Recently I had the opportunity to interact with some people from the College of Health Sciences and we discussed about how they can leverage NVivo for their projects. And I thought why should I not share that video with you people? Whether you are from health sciences, medical sciences, social sciences or any other field. This is an interdisciplinary word I think you will find a lot of value in this video. We will be diving into two projects that cover everything from importing your data to conducting in-depth analysis with NVivo. Also, just so you know, I'm a certified NVivo expert. I have had the pleasure of guiding students from all over the world, including but not limited to UK, US, Japan, and many other places. If you ever need one-on-one guidance, feel free to reach out. You will see my email on the screen, so don't hesitate to contact me. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, go and subscribe and hit the bell icon. Stay connected till the end of this video. I know it's a long video, but let me tell you, it's absolutely worth it. Now it's time to take you into the actual session. Let's start with how to download this software. So for that, let me share my screen. Simply, you can write NVivo. The latest version is NVivo 15. So you can write NVivo 15 in Google search bar and you will find NVivo 15 for academics. And there is a procedure. It will open a web page. Your basic information is required, and after getting this procedure done, you will get 14 days free trial along with a downloadable link to that software. If you want to skip all of that, I have already made a video on how to download the software, so you can go search NVivo 15 on YouTube. Let me open YouTube first and write NVivo 15 download. So yeah, this is the video, and I mean you don't need to watch the whole video. Just go to description, and you will find a direct official link to download the software. Here you go. You can click here, and the download setup will begin. Let's try this. Go to site. So yes, the software has, and this is officially from QSR International. I told you it was previously acquired, owned by QSR International. Now it has become Lumira. So the software is of 578 MB, and you can install it. Along with this software installation, you will get this NCapture add-in for your Google Chrome browser, and of course for your for Edge as well. But I'm not sure for Google. It's right there. So this is used especially for by media students to download social media data. For example, if you want to download YouTube comments, just go to YouTube and like this one. So once you go here, you see you can download video, and comments, and that you can analyze in any project. So yeah, this add-in will come up will come with this setup. This will automatically be installed. Yes, you have an option to check or uncheck, but if you want to download and analyze some social media data, then you should install it. Once you get this software installed, then let me open NVivo. I have NVivo 14 in it, but there are not so many changes in NVivo 14 or 15 except the introduction of AI and AI assistant. That is actually a separate module. Let it be open and then I will explain. So the trial license will come with these features, I mean full features only. Not with AI assistant, not with the different modules that are separately available in NVivo. So once you install this software using that link, I will provide that link in an email as well following this meeting. And once you install, just give your initials. Like mine is, I prefer to use MA for my, Muhammad Awais. So I use initials. So you can use any initials you want, and then you will land here at this screen. So let me briefly explain what this is all about. So if you want to create a new project, you can go here. And if you want to practice something on NVivo, you can go on this sample project, and there are interviews, there are social media data, a complete package, I would say. So you can start exploring it. This is a a study that is already done, that is already published, and then we acquired that data of that study and uploaded it as sample project. You can, I can also provide, but you can actually find some relevant publications as well if you want to see, okay, I have analyzed the data, now what to do next. So those publications might help you to understand the next step after uh, getting the analysis done. So this sample project would help you. There are other sample projects, and if you are only interested in doing literature review, let's say, not full whole analysis, but a literature review just to get themes or just to get something significant. So you may find this interesting to explore more sample projects that also include a literature review project only, not full study, not data collection, nothing. So these four tabs are just to create new project or explore sample project. These are some recent projects that you would be working on. And yes, if you want to learn from NVivo officially, there's NVivo Academy. There are a few videos available, some text available, guiding text, so you can explore that as well. Free transcription. Yes, if you have conducted interviews and you want to get transcription, I would not recommend you to use it because it comes with some price. 15 minutes, yes, 15 minutes you will get free and then you have to pay. I usually do it with YouTube. Simply upload your video, keep it private, and then just simply download the auto captions it generates by any third party website. If you're interested, we can explore that as well. And if you think NVivo should have any additional feature that it doesn't have right now, then you can request a feature as well. Uh, for for first use or for initial days of use, you don't need to change anything. Just keep everything at default. However, let me show what application options it has. So just like my university ID, my initials that I told you, once you open, it will ask you the username password that you have when you go to their official website. You have to give your email and you have to set a password that you need to give before signing in into and landing here. So that will reflect here in application options as well. And yeah, the other things for now, I think you should go with default one because I'm going with default one. So everything that we are going to keep sure, make it sure that this coding enhancement is on. Coding enhancement means what whether you are going with auto coding feature of NVivo or you want to do some manual. So if you want to do some manual, no need to turn it on, but it will not affect your manual coding even if you kept it on. So just try to, it is better to keep it on. And yeah, the other options, audio video files, if you want to, I mean, there are tricky ways of dealing with audio video files. For example, if you're from College of Health Sciences or nursing, maybe you want to analyze some x-rays as well. How to do that? We can simply touch, but we may not be able to discuss in detail. But yes, NVivo can deal with audio and video files as well as images. Notifications, if you want to get display what type of a font you would like to use, and all labels. These are something called case classifications that we're going to discuss later. Text, I mean English, and these languages are available only. There are ways in which we can actually deal with and analyze Arabic text as well. But of course, auto coding features will not be available for that. But for manual, yes, Arabic text we can work on inside NVivo, even if these sporting language doesn't contain any Arabic language here. So paragraphs, I mean, just keep it at default one. And let's start with creating a new project. But before that, let's see what type of data we have. Let's say we have this type of data, just a random uh, I mean, this is not an accurate data, but this is just a quote of data, I would say, just to explain what NVivo can offer us down the road. So let's say we have asked some university students a question. What are the major causes of stress? Let's assume for a minute. And interviewee and interviewer and interviewee. And there are some background information: name, Daniel, age, education, university, public, monthly family income, blah blah. So any background or demographic information you are interested to deal with along with this text. So this is the structure. I mean, you can go with any random structure unless you want to do some automation inside NVivo. So you can keep your structure in any way you want in case you want to go manually. So yeah, what are the major causes of stress? This is one question, and then this is the answer, just to keep things simple. There's another thing, another project that if we get time, so a qualitative study of nursing students' experiences in hospital settings. Let's say students in College of Health Sciences or College of Nursing sent to hospitals for their training, or maybe you have some that part of in your degree programs as well. So let's say we have sent some students to the hospitals, and we have asked, please tell us about your overall experience as nursing students during clinical training. You can share anything that comes to your mind, what stood out, what challenged you, what you learned, or what moments you still think about. So this is the question that we asked to many participants, many students that went to hospitals, and this is the answer of one of them. So we will start with the simpler one. What are the major causes of stress? Because I know more about that. This is very tailor-made, and maybe I don't know much information about health sciences or the College of Nursing. So I will try to explain as much as I could. So we checked the interview structure. For going manually, no need to give any structure. This is, at the top, it might have been here, doesn't matter. So format doesn't matter if you want to go manually. Coming back to, oops, yes, coming back to NVivo. Just ignore this error. So new project. Now we have collected data, and now we want to analyze them. The first step is to import them in NVivo. The good thing is, once we all learn NVivo, then we can go to any length while collecting the data, because we beforehand we know that what NVivo can offer us. So that's it. Let's create a new project. I'm going to name it College of Health Sciences. And where to save this? Project? You can set the destination here. No need to change anything else. If you're dealing with any other language, choose one, otherwise keep it US or UK English. Hit next. This is very important that we should pay attention to. Auto save this project. It happened to me many times while working on my projects. Uh, Dr. Jackie, you have some better idea that in Pakistan, there was a time when there was some, load shedding electricity, and you have worked on something. And
yes, I lost it as well.
So if in that case, keep it at yes. Every click that you are going to make in NVivo, every click that you are going to, do it in NVivo, it will be saved. The drawback is, the negative side of this action is, you can't undo things because everything is going to be saved. So do this in case you want this. Otherwise, you can set a reminder. NVivo will remind you after every 15 minutes that you have made some progress, you want to save it. If you click yes, it will be saved. Otherwise, you can cancel that time as well. So it depends upon you whether you want to use this one or that one. I usually use the second one. So maybe sometimes we all are humans, so we made mistakes, so we want to go back, undo things. So it's up to you. So just sort out this one and hit at create project. It is that easy. So the new project has set up, and a virtual tour. It will show every time you create a new project. You can take the tour by doing next, or just skip the tour. So this is the next screen you come across with after creating the project. Let's talk about these options first. This data, coding, cases, notes, sets, queries, visualizations, or reports. Uh, Ideally, every one of them requires at least one day to understand. Let me tell you my experience. It took me 6 months to understand NVivo. I would not say fully, but comprehensively. So to discuss every one of them at least requires one day per feature or function. So I will try to explain the maximum I could. So data, this data tab, this data type will deal with everything that you're going to import. Let it be PDF, images, audio files, video files, social media, whatever. It will save here. And you can create new folders inside here. For example, if you have many kinds of data, you can say audio files, and you can say video files, this is whatever. So you can create as many new folders as you want and rename them. I will come back to classification when we discuss this case classification. I will come back here. Externals. So here in files, you can save your PDFs, you can save your Word documents, the interview data you might have in that, and you can import them. I mean, this import tab will deal with that importation. We are going to come here when we import that mental health project interview and nursing interview here. So externals, let's say you have references. Those references don't have any physical entity, don't have any physical file with them. By physical, I mean PDF, Word, they have only text. So anything that doesn't have any files put with the text, like PDF is a file. So those externals that doesn't have any entity, doesn't have any, I don't know, I'm struggling to find the correct word, but if they are only references, you can save them here. After importing, your files will be saved here, as I told you. And then the coding procedure begins. Coding procedure. Coding means coding, populating data from your files to different codes or themes. Uh, okay, so before advancing further, I will use codes and themes interchangeably. There's a reason behind it. Brown and Clark, very famous two women qualitative researchers, actually introduced thematic analysis back in 2006, and they have updated and published recent, very new papers. That the current discussion is about reflexive thematic analysis. I would suggest all of you who are interested. I mean, you know better than me. So I mean, those two researchers actually introduces these codes and themes. And what is the difference? Actually, codes are the smallest units of interpretation in your the text. Those codes basically then bring something to themes. I mean, two codes can merge together to build upon a theme or something like this. But we will keep things simple here. So we will interchangeably use codes, themes together. Maybe sometimes when I say themes, it means codes. It will not confuse you. I can assure you. So codes means themes. Your themes will be saved here. And the sentiments, if you want to get some positive, negative, neutral sentiments, moderately positive, moderately negative, whatever, they will be saved here. Relationship. Uh, if your codes have some relationship, for example, family communication, these are research, there are 21 research groups in research in our Institute, Research Institute of Humanities and Social Science, and one of them is family studies, family and child studies. And of course, there is some connection between cases, for example, husband, wife, brother-in-law, blah blah. So those relationships can be created here, and themes might have some connection as well. For example, let's say we're dealing with some infrastructural development project, and we know that economy, there are two codes, let's say economy and infrastructure, and we know that economy impacts infrastructure. So that type of relationship we can create here. And if there is any existing relationship available here and you are dealing with a completely new project, then you can create your own type of relationship. So files, importation. coding, codes, sentiments, and their relationship, if any. Cases. This is very, very, very important. Okay, cases. So cases are the organizations or the persons that you are studying. For example, business administration people deals with organizations. So for them, one organization is a case. For us, or maybe for you, a person or a patient or a student who is going to get some practice in hospitals, that student is a case, that patient is a case that you are getting the data from. So those cases will be saved here. In files, what is the difference between file and cases? Maybe there is a file in which you have pasted all 10, 20 number of interviews in single file. You import here, but then you have to import 10 different or 15 different based on n sample that you have. That number of cases here, just to see, I mean, what's who said what, and just to make a comparison, I will demonstrate when we go to data analysis. And then here it comes to case classification, and with that you will also understand what is file classification that I skipped at first. So case classification, of course, when we are dealing with persons, there are some attributing values or there are some classifications like gender, like let's say for College of Communication, uh, how many hours you use TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And I have made some those classifications here as well. Participant name, yes, I mean that can be a file name as well or a case name. Placement type, whether those students that we had sent, supposedly, hypothetically, were sent to hospitals, they perform their duties in ICU, they perform their duties in surgical ward or whatever. Year of study, bachelor's, master's, PhD, or maybe you have first year, second year, third year, first semester, second year, third semester. Third semester. Shift timing, whether they are evening, they worked on evening, morning, or rotating, or night, or whatever. Hospital, whether it was public or private. Patient, or how many patients there they deal daily, something like this. This could be the background information that we are interested in, along with the data, the interview transcript. So everything that deals with this information, background information, will be saved here. Case classification. And okay, we have talked about this. And if you want to make a set, this number of files, this number of codes, for example, Dr. Jackie is working on a project, and there is a student who is a collaborator with her. So, but Dr. Jackie wants to give a limited number of data to that student, just to get the understanding that if she and Dr. Jackie are on the same page, if he or she. So you can create a set, a limited number of files, limited number of codes, or whatever, and save it here. And then you can provide that set instead of those actual files. Queries, when we go to explorable tab to actually get some visualizations, that query criteria, that query result, I mean the results, the actual results that we're going to get will be saved here. Coding matrices is the old technique before these new features come. If we get time, we will talk about this one as well. Visualizations, maps. I would suggest you to use, I mean, this is a manual. There are some live maps as well, but this, I mean, you can create a new mind map, new project map, and that is just to create links. This one relates with this one, relates to this one, just like a networking analysis or something, manual. So if you, I mean, I rarely used it. So, but yes, we should know that what this is all about. And reports, you have your student claimed that he or she had worked on NVivo, you can ask them to please send me a report. Then you can actually check each and every click that they had made in their project, just to see whether some AI was there behind their work or it was the actual work. Anyways, so this data importation, coding, themes, and the process of populating data from files to from text to those codes. Cases, after importing files, getting the actual units that we are studying, let it be organizations or persons. Case classification, the background information. I have skipped file classification. So from case classification, now we have an idea. So file classification is any attributing values related with files that we import. For example, if we are using this software for literature review, year of publication, page number, blah, blah, this could be the background information related to that file. So classification and then notes, if you want to take some memos, annotations, I mean, there is some jargons of every discipline. So if you're dealing with your own jargons, you can annotate where something, for example, UNO, so you can annotate it inside your transcript and it will be saved here. Home, simple one, just to, clipboard, copy paste things. So let's start with import. What type of files you can import that we have already worked on? Project. If two searchers are working on one project, then you are working on a master project and you can, for example, if you go to files, there's a feature called copy project. You can copy your project and share it with your collaborator, with your, co-author, and he or she can go to import and go to project and import that project, that the other project, into your master project. The identical themes, names, identical files, identical everything that is identical, the same will be merged. The rest will be treated as new in your master project. That said, there is a module here which is called collaboration cloud. For example, if you're working in a group, so you can buy, this is a separate thing. For NVivo's license purchase is a different thing. These two modules comes at a different price along with AI assistant, which is not very useful to be honest in NVivo 15. So collaboration cloud, you have to pay extra. And then you can, you don't need to share the projects. You are actually working on one project at the same time. Like I use Overleaf, my co-authors can, all my collaborators can, we all can work together. So collaboration cloud is for that. Transcription, as I spoke at the very beginning, transcription is to transcribe your data. I would not 15 or 30 minutes are free, then you have to pay by minutes or by every 50 minutes or something. It is very expensive. So I upload my interviews, keep them private, and I will, of course, seek approval from our interviewers as well. On YouTube, accuracy is 90%, 99%. Just try it. If you have any interview, upload it on YouTube. I have made a video as well, so you can go and maybe it is available, or maybe it was struck down by due to community guideline, because YouTube is not for that purpose anyway. So there are so many softwares there. Apple has that feature to transcribe your interviews and whatever you say. So I don't recommend. This is there, but you have to pay extra for that. Coming back to import project. So if you don't want to use collaboration cloud, you can use this feature to merge and to export your project by going to copy project and then save it in .nvp format. Capture, again, this one. I'm sorry, this is my paper. So capture is this one. You have collected data, YouTube data or whatever, and that is saved in a specific format that you cannot import going to files or any other option. You have to go to capture and you will find some. I don't have anything here because I use Python to download the data, but they will show here whatever data you have, and make sure you have opened the right folder. Files. Yes, we need to look at it. We need to pay attention to this one. What type of files we can import? Document files, text files, Word files, PDF, audio files, video files, image files, Outlook files. If you're a CEO of a company and you want to analyze all emails, then you can use this one. And or else you can set it to all exported files. So before importing, let's understand the other options. I have to keep one eye on time as well. Survey. So survey, if you have classification sheet, for example, if you are dealing with 100 people, you don't want to, I mean, you already have downloaded it from Google Sheet, or maybe you have used Qualtrics, SurveyMonkey, or whatever. So you don't want to put those classification sheet manually, just import it. There is a way, there is another way of doing that here as well. Or if you have collected qualitative data from Qualtrics or SurveyMonkey, use these options, and you can import classification only from SPSS and some Excel sheets as well. As I told you, Satavi was purchased by Lumivero. So this is also an option available. If you have installed Satavi in your computer, this will be visible, and you see 15 minutes are up. Whether you want to save the project, yes, just to, So bibliographic analysis, it will be saved here if they don't have any PDF or Word file document. Notes and emails, code book. If you have a list of codes separately saved, you can import them and it will be saved here. Themes, remember, reports, import. So these are the importation options available inside NVivo. Create. You want to start from scratch. You can create memo, document, Word document, or PDF, whatever. You can create case classification. We usually have something in our hand before going to software, like Word documents that like I have. So if you want to create right away from scratch, just use this create. This explore ribbon tab. This deals with analysis. There are many options available. I will talk one by one when we get there. Share formatted report. For example, I am working under Dr. Jackie's supervision, so she wants a report just to see the whole track record. So you can share that in a report, I mean, the project format. I mean, you can explore and upload project as well if you had a cloud service. Modules we have already talked about. So recap, data will save everything that you're going to import. Coding, creating themes. Cases, if you are dealing with organizations, you can skip this step as well, by the way. I mean, let's say you have themes and you don't want to compare person wise, or you don't want to compare gender wise, because then you need some classification, right? Then you can skip it. You can just want to see the hierarchy of which themes contains what text and how many number of sentences, blah blah. So you can skip that. But if you want to make your study more comprehensive and you want to take into account every nuance it can offer you, then I would suggest to explore these cases. So these are interviewees or organizations or whatever. So these will be saved here. Memos and notes we have already discussed. So let's start with importing one file. And let's start with this, Daniel, just to keep things very simple. What are the major causes of stress? And then after discussing it, I will get to this project. Import files and this one. Don't need to do anything else. Just import files. I have to go back there again. Open that folder and select that file. Let it be Word document, PDF, whatever. And yes, select that file. Okay, create a case for each imported file. If your file is contains only the answers of that participant, then it is advisable and it is logical to create. It is like populating the whole file into a case. So you can check this option, otherwise leave it as is and hit at import. General information, if you have any description, save it, otherwise just attributing value that will be saved here at case classification, because we are importing a file, not case. Okay. So this file is imported, and our project is what are the major causes of stress, and here it is, major cause of stress, and we have had asked one question to number of participants, let it be 10, 12, 13, same question, and then we have some background information, and we are going to analyze it, right, by populating into codes, by populating into cases as well, how to do it. So anyway, you will have that recording as well, and I will share my email as well in case you find some
Sure.
trouble. So we have imported this file. So double click, and you will see the same structure that we had a glance in Word document. So information, demographic of background information, question, and this answer. So my suggestion is when you create a case, never create the case of the whole file. Otherwise, this will also be part of that cases text. So do it this way. You can go to case, and this also applies to thematic, populating themes as well. Right click, create a new case. Let's say I would say Daniel, the name of the participant. Okay, and just select the text of that interview only. You can drag and drop, right, to that case, just to make sure it is purely the interviewee's text. It will be helpful in analysis stage. I will explain it why at that stage. So drag and drop, select the text and drag and drop into that case that you just created. And yes, and now the case is created for that interview. It is that simple. Or else if you want to do the if you don't want to do this, drag and drop, select the text of that participant, right click, code selection. Code means populating something into something. So code selection and case I have already created, or else you can right click and create a new case here as well. Select it and hit add code selection to Daniel. This way you can populate the text into different cases. However, if you have, let's say I have 100 different interviewees data in just single file, it will be it will take a long time and mental labor is required. So there are some automation software, automated automation features available. But before that, make sure if you don't see them, make sure you have, I told you, this coding enhancement on to use. Maybe by speaker name is already available, but make sure it is on. And how to do it? Just right click on that file, and there is an option of now what we are doing, we are actually extracting cases, the interviewees data into cases from files. So autocode, and there is an option called speaker name, right? Speaker name. This feature is used to extract, and mostly used to extract cases. Select that, hit next. All you need to do is just give the first few, I mean, what is the pattern? So Daniel and semicolon follows with, and after that, the text comes, right? So if I write Daniel and semicolon, you will see only that text is highlighted. Only that text is highlighted that comes after whatever you have written here. So this way, if you click next, then those cases of this Daniel, let's say there was another interview with data behind this data, and that was from myself, Awais. I was also the interviewee. So the two cases will be created automatically, and their subsequent and their following text and their relevant text will be populated into cases. This is the automated way. So yes, because Awais is there. So you see, Awais's text is written in highlighted in different color, and Daniel's text is highlighted in different color. So two cases will be created. One is for Daniel, second one is for Awais. You just click next, and those two cases will be, yes, create classification. Who are they? They are persons. Hit enter, And if you go to cases, you will see those two cases. I had already created a case for Daniel, so it has renamed to this way. So I am going to delete it. Now we have discussed how to extract cases from files. The next step is how to create case classification. Since we have some background information, right? So that is super easy. That person that in automation process was created, I'm going to delete it just to keep things simple. Ideally, you should do it at the very beginning before extracting cases, so you can have something to choose from. So case classification, I'm going to close it. So case classification and right click, new classification, whether it is personal or organization, they are two default ones, or else you can create a new one. For literature review, you can say bibliometric, something, background, whatever. So let's say I want to write it, I name it interviewees. Let's say, and hit OK. So interviewees case classification is created. Right click, and here you go, new attribute. New attribute. One of the attributes should be gender. And values, what type of, I mean, gender studies, maybe in America or somewhere, gender studies department has identified 40 or 50, whatever. So male, female, male, female, right? So I have created one classification called interviewees or persons or people, whatever. And then I went to new attribute, and then I named it as gender new attribute, not classification. And then I give some values to choose from while associate when I'm going to associate these values to cases, male, female, and hit OK. So you see, interviews is the classification sheet, a classification type. This is the attributing value, and inside that attributing value, there are different uh, options. And going back to this Daniel's file, if you see, this is the background information, right? So we need to create age, we need to create education, we need to create a university, we need to create monthly family income. So, okay, so case classification, right click, new attribute, age, and you need to create a range of ages that you have. You may have categorized some of them, for example, 10 to 12 years, 15 to this years, whatever. So for now, let's say 19, 20, just keep it at interval level, 22, 23, and so on. I mean, it should be based on the range that you have related to that attributing value. So age, and then right click again, new attribute, and let's say university, causes of stress, right? So public and private, hit OK, and you can create the whatever information you have here like this. How to associate this to the cases? So you have created those cases. Awais is just an interview, so I'm going to delete it, right? This is the data only related with that interview. So this is a case, not a file now. Now, how to associate that case classification of interviewee and age, these things to the case of Dania? Right click, case property, and then attributing value. Again, right click on the case, go to case property, attributing value, attribute value, select the classification sheet that you have. Maybe you have more than one and you want to select a specific one. We only have one interviewee that we recently created. Gender and name recognition. It looks like he's male. Age 22. We have already created, right? University. Yes, he's from public. It is written there in the information that you have collected at data collection stage. And whatever information you create though at that classification sheet and associate to each case. So the case is ready. I mean, I skipped monthly family income just to save time, but the procedure remains the same. The case is ready. This case. Okay, so recap. Data importation, themes or coding procedure, including sentiments, or if there is any relationship, those codes or sentiments might have cases. And then import, we have imported one file. We have extracted one case from that file since it was people. So interviewing, we name that classification and then associate. I mean, there are two ways of extracting case from files. First, the manual way, select that text and drag and drop by opening it here, and it will not, it will stay here, and you can open case and then drag and drop, right? Or else, if you have many interviewees in single file, then use some automation. Go to that file, right click, auto code, speaker name, and the process is the history I have explained. And case classification, it is better to create beforehand the information that you have, just create the case classification and create that attributing values that you have collected and the range between them, the range they have, and then associate it to your cases. If there's no question so far, so then let's move to the real business, which is thematic and creating themes. Okay, so I'm not importing so many files. Of course, I am going to show you the final project, but for manual and the coding procedure, I will restrict myself to only one file. And but the procedure remains the same. Let even if there are 100 files here and 100 cases, we have to create whatever. So coding. So there are different ways of doing coding. Deductive, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows deductive and deductive approach. Deductive is if you have already a theory and you have some themes in mind before diving into the data and you want to create them beforehand. Let me give you an example from my discipline, College of Communication. We have a theory, beaten to death theory, uses and gratification, uses and gratifications. And it says there are 5 different needs. I mean, different needs in different contexts, but basic needs that actually uh, motivates you to expose to media. One is information needs, second is entertainment, third is to learn language, fourth is blah 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 blah, blah, and the list continues. So yes, if we have collected data to document the motivations behind giving exposure to a certain medium. Now the social media comes, but theory remains the same. So we can create information need, we can create education need, we can create this need, this need, this need beforehand, because theory is guiding us. Or else, if the literature is, I mean, it never happened to me, but if the literature is completely silent, is not offering you anything beforehand, and inductive approach, grounded theory, even if the literature offers you something, but you want to go blindly, I mean, just want to dig, dig out the data right away, start from the beginning, and just want to see, and you don't want to, blur your image of interpreting your data with what a literature has suggested to you. So in that case, inductive approach is appropriate. You are actually reading uh, the file. Okay, so what are the major causes of stress? Let's read out the answer, which is not the accurate one to, just to give you a disclaimer. University life comes with its own set of stresses. This is, let's say, collected from my university students of Pakistan. University life comes with its own set of stresses. Firstly, academic pressure is immense due to blah, 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 blah. So, first stress that they talked about, cause they talk about is academic pressure. What I can do? I mean, this is inductive approach. I can right click, new code, and academic pressure. This is, I mean, I'm not digging out between the lines. I am just documenting what is offering at face value, at surface level. People usually do a critical discourse analysis with NVivo as well. I mean, the procedure remain the same, and the utilization is entirely upon us in what way we are going to utilize it. academic pressure. So, okay. So this academic pressure code or theme has been created. This academic pressure. So what we can show now, this is the populating data into themes. Okay, university life. Okay, we can skip it and we can start with this one. And now here's a very tricky part. This, some students actually skip it and then eventually at the analysis stage, they face high waters. Always be consistent at the coding stage. If you are going to code a sentence, be consistent. Then throughout your transcript, you should code the sentences. Linguistics people actually code word by word because each word actually gives some sense and some insight in related to their projects. But for us, as for them concerned, I usually go with sentence by sentence. It is advisable and it is logical and it is compulsory, I would say. If you are going with paragraph by paragraph, no issue at all. But just then be consistent. Go by paragraph because okay, so this sentence is related to academic pressure. So I just drag and drop into this. Procedure remains the same like we populated a case. So academic pressure, the moment you drag and drop it, it says this theme is populated from one file, one time only, right? So let's say next time I am only coded this one. So this theme is populated from one file two times. Now here's the the tricky thing. When we go to analysis stage, we actually sometimes we actually compare based on number of references and number of times you have done coding. So if you are consistent at this stage, at coding stage, and you set a unit of analysis to a sentence, and you always had coded sentence, then this 213 whatever it means that this number of references means this number of sentences. So that will help you to interpret your findings better. Of course, we will not be focusing on number of this thing, number of that thing, but what's inside. But just to support something, we need to give those things as well. And of course, and when we double click, we can open those references as well. So, coming back to my point, always be consistent. If you are coding a sentence, then be consistent throughout the transcript and code the sentences all the time. So this pressure is heightened by the limited availability of quality of education resources and the perception that academic achievement is the sole or prosperous future. This could be, gone to some theme. Financial concerns also weigh heavily on students. So the second stress they are talking about is financial concerns, right? So right click financial. I'm keeping things at very, very, very simple level just to um, maybe if we get a chance to meet again, then I will explain what are the ways to document what is not said at the surface level and what is said between the lines. But for today, I will keep it very simple. So financial concerns. Sorry to interrupt you. Just a quick reminder for all of you at this point. I am also an NVivo expert and I also offer one-on-one guidance. So if you ever need any help, don't hesitate to reach out to me on the email. Enjoy the rest of the video. And sentence is already selected, so just drag and drop into financial concerns. It is that simple. So themes are created inductively and are populated this way. So you can go through the whole transcript and then populate the data into relevant themes. This is manual way of doing coding into themes. There are some automated ways. There are some new websites, AI-driven websites that actually can give you the whole thematic analysis, but they are not reliable. I always say that there's no substitute to human eye. So, we can do it, at least for now, we can do better than any AI tools. Manual way is the best way for now. So, but there are there are automated ways that we can use to some extent. What are those? This is the manual way. coming back to that file or the case, whatever. Right click, auto code again. And we had used speaker name, right? To extract case from file to case. Yes. Yes. Sometimes I confuse myself as well, so pardon me for that. So first auto code wizard feature is identify themes. As the very name suggests, identify themes. You can apply it on one file, or you have 100 different interview files. You can select all of them and right click all. I mean, once you select all of them, right click, auto code, identify themes, and it will give you the automated themes that you may or may not consider. So let's try to find it out. Identify themes. Next, first time users, it will download 280 or some 250 MB library for the first time only. And then, to download its algorithm or whatever. So first time only you have to download that. So the things that we were doing manually by going through the text, you see the automated way, future mental health, academic demands, politics, jobs, they are the, I mean, relevant to this. These are the causes of stress because our project is about that. So automated way already told us that your data is talking about this. Now the thing is, this everybody can tell us, but what actually runs at the back end? This is the real story. So actually, what NVivo's this auto code identify themes feature, do is uh, it actually gets all nouns in your data and make them and check their frequency and make them as uh, what should I say? Let's say themes and noun phrases as child themes. So if you see future is the main theme, future success, uncertainty, prosperous future, these are the child codes. So yes, I mean, if you want to go with it, auto coding, sometimes the automated features, automated identify sentiment, identify themes, names may not you may not find relevant. So you can actually uncheck them just to not import them, and just select the one that you want to import, and maybe you can hit at finish. This is the analysis that we will go after some time. So if you go to this course, autocode features, those themes are already extracted and saved here by autocode wizard. So we have, and this is created by NV. NV means NVivo. And these are created by ME, my initial. So if you want to check the students' work, so you can get them from here as well, whether they have manually or automatically created. Okay, so themes, manual way of coding it, and in manual way, inductive and deductive approaches are there, and there is some automated way, just like we did. Now let's recap. We had we have a file, Daniel's file, what are the major causes of stress, and in which he talked about different stresses of life. We had some background information, and after discussing it, I will come back to the College of Nursing project that I had created. So yes, and then I imported them and I extracted a case from them. I created case classification. I associated that case classification, the background information that I save in case classification to those cases, right? And then I created some themes manually as well as we learned how to do it automatically. And in case, we have learned some automation as well. So this is the ideal way of doing importation and organizing our data and then populating data into different themes manually or automatically. Now let me open a complete project in which all interviews are already coded related to these causes of stress. Um, okay, I'm going to save it. Okay, so I'm going to save another project in which cause of stress is already. So in files, these are the people the data is collected from. Question remains the same. What are the major causes of stress? Codes, these are the stresses or the causes they talked about, populated in the same fashion, manual way or automated way, doesn't matter. What matters is what we have at the end of the day. These are the themes. Sentiments, okay, yes, sentiments. One of the way of doing sentiment analysis is manually. I mean, good joke. Uh, If maybe the automated way will say it is a positive because it is good, it has good word in it. But maybe manually somebody cracked a joke on somebody and the other one is endorsing it, and good joke means something like this. So humans may categorize it as negative. Uh, so again, automated way is better. Oh, sorry, manual way is better. But if you want to make this automation, just select all of them, right click, auto code, just like you had identified themes automatically, you can identify sentiments automatically as well. This one, just to save time because it will take a minute or two. So I am applying it randomly in files by closing my eyes. So identify sentiments. Next, code sentences. Again, you want to go code by code, or sorry, sentence by sentence or paragraph by paragraph. So only two options. So code sentences. So it says neutral is the most prominent one, positive, negative, something. So it is better. I mean, this is the analysis part that we haven't reached yet. So here they will be saved here. So you can see positive, very positive, moderately positive. It categorized to that level. Negative and very moderately negative, very negative. How to do? I mean, there's a whole science behind sentiment analysis. Let's say we have a word victory. This is positive. But we say marvelous victory. That is very positive. Not moderately, but very marvelous victory. And this, just like the same way we have defeat, negative word, crunching defeat. Yes, very negative. So it categorized to positive, very positive, moderately positive, negative, and inside negative, moderately negative, very negative sentences. Remember, code sentences. So 19 sentences very positive, 37 sentences very negative, moderately negative, and yes, you can go with a blend of human eye and automation. After doing this, you can, if you double click here, it will open those references, those texts that are populated into this code or theme. I will consider very positive as a theme as well because procedure remains the same. So codes, sentiments, we just created. Let's start from scratch to clear the air. Some files in which one question was asked, what are the major causes of stress? Answers of these interviewees saved in different files. We extract cases from them and we saved some background information, right? And inside each background information, there is some range that the participants has and what else? Yes, and associated with those cases, and then we populate the data into these themes and then sentiments, right? So for now, I think we are good to go for analysis now. We have imported data. We have, I mean, I'm just repeating myself, but it is always better to recap. Imported data, cases extraction, creating classification, and associating that classification to relevant cases, creating themes, right? Populating themes manually or automatically, and then identifying sentiments manually or automatically. This we have done along with some basic introduction of the software. So, I mean, it is always difficult to listen than to speak. So I will give all of you just 2 minutes break and then I will start with explore ribbon tag. And I hope you all are feeling better than 1.5 hours before. Okay, so data importation is done. Of course, I understand that it is, if it took 6 months for me to understand this, at least it will take
So many will go to
like
sleep
six
for 6 months.
hours to fully get what this can offer. So I understand that. I mean, I'm open and I will welcome any question that you might have after this session. So importation, codes, themes, sentiments, cases, all done. And the file now let's explore this explore ribbon tab. First and foremost, let's see the hierarchy chart of themes and what it can tell us. This one, hierarchy chart. Which theme has more data or less data? Hierarchy chart, hierarchy charts, first option, codes, next, all codes, all files, don't we don't need to change anything. Of course, we can change if we want to customize our findings, but anyways, for now, let's keep everything at default. Finish. So here you go. So social relationship is the most dominant theme. It doesn't mean that it is the most, yes, in a way we can say that it is most important academic stressor in Pakistani students, at least among our sample. So, but we need to further dig out what's inside it. This is based on number of sentences they've spoken about, right? And after that, mental health issues, after that, future uncertainty, after that, academic pressure, health and wellness, and surprisingly, family expectations comes at last because it's a cooked up data, not the real one. Adjustment to university life, because most of the people comes from rural areas, and when they go to universities, then adjustment is, so you can operationalize, you can interpret in context to what you are studying. Financial concerns is could be a big problem, and then you can go to summary and go to number of references they have. And that's how you can, by the way, create, I mean, inside academic pressure, maybe some assignments, deadlines, maybe grades could be, I mean, you can further dig out. So you can right click and create subcodes as well. If you select any parent code, right click, new code, and it will create a child code, I would say, child theme of academic pressure, and you can name it and assignment deadlines, grades, whatever, and then you can populate relevant data into relevant sub-theme or theme. Coming back to this hierarchy chart from here, so you will see that the hierarchy chart, and then if you hit here, there are two visualizations available in NVivo. This one is tree map and this one is sunburst. So hit at sunburst and you will see this one. I have seen many, I mean, I have used this visualization in my published papers. So yes, this is acceptable. And the moment take a screen, okay, so right click, export hierarchy chart, and it will save it in PNG, JPEG, or whatever format you are comfortable with. And add them in your overleaf document if you are, formatting your paper in overleaf, LaTeX, I mean, or Word or PDF, whatever, you can insert this picture and then interpretation of that picture in context to what you are studying. And yes, I mean, this is based on coding references, right? So this is one of the way of showing our thematic distribution across the data. And yes, I'm going to close it. So explore ribbon tab, hierarchy charts, and to show, I mean, this is the step after the coding procedure is done. Hierarchy charts and two different type of visualizations. And yes, one more thing that we can do is here you go charts. If you want to see in codes, and now the opportunities are endless. I mean, sky is the limit. There are so many angles through which we can actually see the data and the patterns. Let's say I want to see which participant actually talked more about social relationships or financial concerns or family expectations. Let's say we are more interested in family expectations. So right click, visualize, chart, code, coding. So if you hit here, you will see this participant and these three participants tagged more or less the similar set of sentences in in terms of number of sentences. Then this Akram and then the other participants comes after this. And let's say health and wellness procedure means the same. Health and wellness, right click, visualize, chart code coding, and you will see uh, Jamal, Asif, and this is the distribution of uh, those interviewees. So this is the way we can actually see how much data is populated from which participant. And if you double click on any bar, you can actually go to that relevant text that is populated from a particular file to this theme. And that we can do, by the way, to files as well. For example, if we want to see, so these are the files. So let's say I want to see what Hamza talked about. I mean, if Hamza has talked about, Hamza is an interviewee, talked more about particular particular type of stressor. So right click, again visualize, chart document coding. So because it has, I mean, this so it the first one means it is populated into a relevant case. Second one is social relationship. He talked more about social relationship, then adjustment to university, and then to extracurricular obligations, then financial concerns. So some you can see the pattern, and if you double click, you will see that mental health issues he talked about. And the same that we did to codes, we can do to files. And yes, this is very important. Again, saving a project. So, explorable tab. And by the way, we skipped the basic ones, which is word frequency and text search frequency that I want to apply on College of Nursing relevant project. Let's explore matrix coding query. Hit here. Okay, there are rows and columns. I mean, at once in one box you can keep your codes, and in second column you can keep your cases just to see. I mean, which case has talked about certain themes for what times, how many number of words, something like this. Let's do it. Let's turn this into action. So this search in means you want to set the boundary of the coding to these two things. For example, if we want to see, okay, everything that is coded from everything available in data. So this is search in set of is a set of boundary to the query. So rows, let's say I want to select codes. And at columns side, I want to select cases, let's say, and hit at run query. So now you will see, and it is all a reflection. This whatever we are getting, just like in SPSS. I mean, in SPSS, it takes a lot of time to enter your data, but it is just 2 clicks away to get the result of regression, to get the results of any descriptives, right? So the same applies here. You should pay special attention to the coding procedure because what comes after coding, these analyses are just a mere reflection of what you have done at coding stage. So academic Akram has started 4 sentences about academic pressure, this. So this is a number of references. If you go here, you will see number of references. And if you were not consistent at the coding stage, remember, if you had done one word coding and then one sentence coding and one paragraph coding, then comparing number of one number of reference with the number of reference. For example, one time you have done coding a sentence, and this time you have done code the whole file or the one paragraph, then this comparison is not accurate. So there is a solution to that. First, be consistent, and if you were not, compare words coded with words coded. So it means in Akram's file, 279 words were coded to academic pressure. And this number of sentences were coded from this case to this one to this one. And if you want to read that 79 words, I mean, of course, they will be written in sentence wise, because it will it will take you to the original text. The original 79 words text that actually is populated to academic pressure like this. If you double click, this is 79 words text that is populated to this academic pressure. So, I mean, this is just a first glance, and then to dig out something more, I mean, the nuanced qualitative insights can offer inside this number. And okay, so once you apply this matrix coding query, you can go to this chart. If you can see this chart, and you will see this chart, and this is 3D. I mean, you can set the uh, reporting friendly display. For example, I think this one can communicate everything clearly. You can zoom in or zoom out, right click, export chart, and save it as JPEG or PNG or whatever. And then you can insert in your dissertation writing or thesis writing or paper writing if students are also there. But this is 3D live. I mean, you can go to any of this building, I would say, not bar chart or something. And okay, Asif, this is from Asif. And mental health issues is the theme, and 747 words are coded into that. And so you can see the distribution of those uh, the text from those cases to those codes. So let's say I don't want to compare with number of cases or the cases wise. I want to compare attributing value wise. If you remember, we created attributing values, right? So plus select attributing value and go to case classification. So again, first at this side, I put some quotes. At this side, I put some, what should I say, cases, right? Now what I'm going to do, I am going to insert some attributing value, not cases, but attributing value. So because we have associated those attributing values to different cases in one of the previous steps. So plus attributing value and select case classification, person that we had created. And let's say we want to compare university type, public or private. So university, okay, equals to one time public. So public is inserted here. And next time the same thing, because we want to compare university, private. Okay. So now what we are going to compare? We are going to compare our course data that is populated from public or private sector university students, because we already had associated those attributing values to our cases. Oops. So run query again. And this boundary is set to everything that comes here. Run query. This is the result. 5 sentences, this sentences, and this number of words. So family expectations, only public sector students actually talked about this. Private sector, 0 word. They don't have any family expectation as stressor in their life, especially to the sample that we had collected data from. Chart, same, and then you can right click and export. So this is one of the ways in which we can actually compare different things. And then again, you can double click and see what the private people target about mental health issues, what the public people target about family expectations, blah, blah, by going into that bar chart or the bars or the buildings. So yes, this is matrix coding query. I think we have done enough on this project. Now let me, I mean, open just so you can resonate better with the data like this one. let's say we have selected data from a qualitative study of nursing students' experiences in hospital settings. Remember at the very beginning, I told you we sent some students to hospitals to get the the practical experience of, I don't know, this is my assumption that nursing students actually this is part of their program or whatever. Pardon me for my ignorance if it is not the case. So now I'm going to open this project that I have to pay just for this session. So for that, I mean, I hope this somehow, enhances your understanding of what NVivo can offer you down the road. Now let's go to the next, the other project. I am going to close it, file, and if you want, I can share these projects as well that we have demonstrated. So yes, College of Nursing, double click. So the same thing, I haven't changed the names. Let's say I have kept a sample as well. Qualitative study of nursing students' experiences in hospital setting. And this is the, okay, so let me tell you one thing. It is not that simple that we are discussing. Sometimes when you do the manual coding, I'm sure you have more experience than me, because one sentence can actually confuse you. Okay, which code it is qualified to be into, something like this. So that actually comes when you do some manual analysis. So this is demographic information. This is interviewer. Tell us what is your experience when you go there and took care of some patients and get some practical experience. And this is, to be honest, when I started cleaning rotation, I felt lost. Environment was so fast paced, monitors beeping, blah blah, cooked up data only. The ICU is his duty was in ICU. So we can see what case classification we had. We had placement type, in which we have ICU, medical ward, surgical unit, emergency unit. This year of study. We have bachelor's, master's, PhD. Shift timing. We have morning, evening, night, and rotating. Sometimes morning, sometimes evening. We have hospital type, public or private. We have patient load, how many patients you have taken care of in one shift. I mean, it's entirely up to you how you have operationalized it. And again, for these text, we have these codes: clinical mistakes and regrets, emotional exhaustion, burnout, fear of infection or safety, patient death, God forbid, patient gratitude, if they get it, show some gratitude, routine documentation. I don't know if you don't know, we have check in, check out here, so we can better relate it with so supervisory behavior and feedback, team dynamics in the ward, when I got it right, when you actually achieved something. And yes, one more thing. If you are working in collaboration and the name of the themes actually doesn't communicate much, then you can actually go to code property and add some description as well. Sense of achievement, often linked with skill, mastery, or praise. Somebody praised you or something. So when I got it right, or you have praised something and he was, I mean, so you can actually add some description as well. And these are the interviews. These are the interviews, right? Sample just to show you. And the students were sent to hospital to get the real experience. And then we asked them about their experience. And through manual coding, we come up with these options. These are the points they talked about. And we had sentiment analysis as well, automated way. Whether they were positive, negative, and then we have their cases and we have their case classification. Now let me start with the things that we skipped. I mean, we have checked hierarchy charts, we have checked this matrix coding query, we have touched upon these charts, word frequency. So now you can select all of them. I mean, let's say I want to see top 10 words, most occurring words in all the data, or in one file, or in one folder that you'd create. Let's say I want to see the top 10 or 20 words in sample, or maybe in other file. But for now, let's keep it at sample. And I want to get top 10 words, or top 20, let's say, top 20 words. And minimum character length. If we set it at 3, then the words or the articles like THE will also appear. And maybe the top 20 could be only that noise only. THE for this, that, that. So you can set the minimum character length to 4, 5, whatever. So minimum character length should be 4 of a word. Top most frequent words 20. This one is very important. Grouping. Linguistics people actually take more interest in here. But for now, I think we are okay if we set this bar to stemming. What does it mean? So stemming means that if there are two words, talk or talking, it will consider them in the same group, right? And if we load the bar here, then speak, talk, talking would be in the same group. Otherwise, and they will come. I mean, if speak comes and then talk comes, they will give the equivalent to something. So specialization, whisper on as well, group together. Generalizations, communicate. So in this way, communicate, whisper, speak, talking, talk, grouped together. So my advice to all the people is to, I mean, if you are not interested in any of this, keep it at stemmed words and then hit at run query. So these are the top words: patience, time, movement, felt, showing emotions, shift, care, kept, learned, made, something like this. And then this is the simple frequency. I mean, length of words, how many times it appear in that file that we had selected, and what was the percentage. I mean, this total total words divided by this word. So what is the percentage? And what are the similar words since we kept it at stemmed words? Word cloud. This is very fancy one. And you have seen, I'm sure you must have seen this in some of the papers. So this is one of the visualization. You can go here and change the visualization from here. Here, these are the options, word frequency query. One more important question or observation. Still is not a word. I mean, this is not a keyword at least. It is a word, but not for us. So it is a noise. How to send it to stop word? Just to let it not play in this top 20 words game. So right click on that word, go to add to stop words list. It here, you see, still is added to stop words. Okay. And next time when you run query, this still will disappear. And the 21st word, you got my point. Now it is top 20. Among the top 20, one word is gone into the stop word list. Now 21st word has become 20th. So it will come instead of still. So you will see still will and some another word is added. So do this practice unless you get a very clear number of keywords that you can actually interpret. Movement. Movement may be relevant because maybe they talked about there were some movements. I mean that requires immediate attention or immediate action. That's they're talking about. And if you want to see what are those sentences in which moments was used, double click and you will be landed on that sentences. I have seen some papers I have used by going to right click, by hitting it right click, export word cloud, and you will save this as JPEG or image, and you can save it, you can insert it in your papers and then interpret it in your own way in context to your own research project. Remap, the same hierarchy chart, which has more data into it, more words. Patience is the most frequent word, then mistakes among top 20 we have, and cluster analysis. This is, I will deal with it separately here, cluster analysis. So this is word frequency. Summary, we can get word cloud, we can get tree map, and we can actually say where they appears by double click, where they appear by double clicking on that specific words. Okay, so from that we come to a point that movement is a word that is top 20. What could be the next step, by the way? By searching that particular text word or phrase. I mean, okay, word frequency we checked, and that prompted us to check particular text, not talk words now. So there's another feature in NVivo in which you can search specific text in dynamic way. Hit text search under explorable tab and write that word. From here, let's set the boundary first. We are discussing only sample. Okay, and let's say it is, what was the word? Is moment, right? Stamped, run query. It appears for 7 times. And this one is very important. This word tree. I mean, if we selected all files here, then we would have, got a big long picture of word tree. But since we are only applying it on one file, so what comes before and after moment word, and that is also common. That word is common among that comes before moment and is common after these. Crying in the hallway, that moment. Later, I still carry that moment. Like my daughter would, and then quotation starts that moment. Patient could deteriorate at any moment. And then after that, it clubbed together the the sentences that has the moment at as a common word. It made everything else worth, and you can see and spread to. I mean, when you apply this run query, you can actually spread it to longer context. So you can get more what comes in after that word. So moment, full stop is common. No one. So usually when moment comes, it comes at the end of sentence because the full stop is the common after moment. No one talks about how the pressure of this change, something like this. So this you could see in word tree. And yeah, I will maybe if we get time, I will show you in sample project how big we can get the word tree when we apply this query to all files. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, let's explore matrix coding query on our project. One thing that we missed. So actually what we can do is we can actually send codes to one list. Here we can insert our cases, right? We can insert our case classification, whether they were public, private, ICU, surgery ward or something. Let's say I want to set the attributing value to case classification into hospital. No, hospital we have already done. Placement type. One is ICU, second one is let's say medical ward, third one is surgical unit, fourth one is emergency unit. So what if I did? That association of attributing values to cases is already done at previous stage related to this project as well. Okay. So one in rows codes and in columns the attributing values, and said that I want to take into account the whole text. Run query. So here you go. You will see that the comparison. So yes, surgical unit, 10 sentences people talked about fear of infection or safety as compared to ICU. So people are more concerned about fear. I mean, the students that you send to the different hospitals, fear and safety and this and that, and you can compare something from here, and yes, you can see the number of words they have coded. You can see that, and you can see it on charts as well. And if you want to read further, dig deeper, then you can double click and see that text. So yes, and one more thing that I want to stress upon is, so these are the codes. We haven't taken into account the sentiments that we got, right? So let's say I want to compare these course text with the sentiments. So instead of in inserting cases or attributing value in these columns, I would send sentiments into that. Now I would say run query. So you can see. Routine documentation, 67 negative and 36 positive. They are fed up from these write-ups and all. And yes, you can interpret in your own way. Supervisory behavior, positive 62, and these are number of sentences. Then 18 negative, and you can double click and check those 18 negative sentences, and we can see it on charts as well, you see. And if you see it is very loaded, then you can actually first compare positive, negative only, for example, like this way. Now run query. So only positive, negative are, you see that. This is only two. And yes, I mean, you can use matrix coding query in different ways. I didn't discuss this cluster analysis, which is very important. So let's say you have collected data from about a disease cure from 20 different doctors, and you want to see what are what doctor, how many of them or which doctors have more or less the similar opinion about this cure, about this medicine, or about this way of taking care of patients. In a way, we are actually comparing these, we are actually clustering these files, these interviewees, these files based on their word similarity. I mean, if I and Dr. Jackie are on the same page, no matter what words we are using, actually we are using the same idea. It will take into account all synonyms, antonyms, everything to give you cluster analysis. How to do it? And by the way, it can apply on literature review as well. For example, you have downloaded 100 different files and you want to see how many of them are more or less similar, talking about the same things, then you can apply this cluster analysis and you can actually club them together or something, whatever you want to do later. So diagram, cluster analysis, files, and external memos. Which files? I'm going to see the clustering of these files, okay? And files based on what? You want to make clusters based on what? Based on word similarity. And by word similarity means synonyms, antonyms, everything. Finish. So this means Atif and Mazhar have more or less similar experiences. Maybe they both went to ICU, maybe they both went to the same ward or something. However, if they went to different units, maybe one of them was surgical ward and the another one is was in ICU, then it is interesting that surgical ward had the people had, I mean, these this staff has similar experience with, I mean, at least it is true to these two cases, two ICU ones. So Daniel, standing all alone, he has very different opinion. In qualitative research, we if it was a quantitative research, we would have categorized it as outlier because he's saying completely different things than other people. But in qualitative research, this is actually a very, very, very important respondent. Maybe when saturation comes, maybe he is the one who actually can give us some better, some way forward or some new insights related to our topic. So this is one of the ways to see what clubs together. And this cluster analysis, by going to diagram, cluster analysis, codes, we can apply it on codes as well. For example, let's apply it and see. Codes, this one, okay, finish. So routine and fear of infection and safety have same, this is cooked up data. So supervisor behavior and feedback, and when I got it right, when I was happy, when I had made the right choices, then supervisor behavior and feedback. He praised me or something that makes sense. So we can apply it on course as well. So let me recap what we have done. We have actually this we just touched it, and this causes of stress actually is the main project that we spent some time on. Import files, code the data, create cases, associate some case classification to those cases, populate data, go to import, get the hierarchy charts of those themes, see with what based on what similarity, what clubbed together, get some charts, see some comparison between codes and sentences, codes and cases, codes and attributing values, and top 20 words, and then particular word that we are aiming to search for. And if I have missed something, let me see. Just 1 second. Yes, this is the protocol sheet that you should actually create when you should be very explicit what you actually done at the coding stage. For example, emotional exhaustion and placement type indicate psychological burden due to environment and expectation. The issue is intense. In emotional exhaustion, this type of sentences should go there. In order, if you want to outsource your coding, coding process is very, very, very lengthy process. And usually what we do is we actually hire some coders, and that is legal, that is ethical. It is a common practice. We hire some, we train them. Train them based on this protocol sheet. We provide this protocol sheet to them, and they actually populate data into these themes based on this criteria, and they can take into account some relevant examples at the core if they want to do manually. Otherwise, automated options are also there. What else? Let me see if original confusion is encoding. Yes. Coding is not that simple. Coding is not about keywords, it's about context, emotional nuance, and layered meaning. One sentence can carry 6 different themes, and missing even one could change your interpretation entirely. For example, I was so focused on entering the vital correctly that I didn't notice the patient's oxygen mask had slipped. My supervisor later told me it could have turned critical, and I spent the rest of the shift blaming myself while trying not to fail behind the rest of the documentation. Which code it is qualified to be into? Clinical mistakes, routine documentation, supervisory behavior, emotional same, patient load, team dynamics, fear of infection. So you should be very, very, very careful while dealing with this manual coding, because one actually text, one sentence or one paragraph can go into many things. And you should be very, very careful while creating this protocol sheet based on what you should, something should go into something. That's it. This is all that I have to say today, and I hope it has somehow enhanced your understanding related to NVivo. I can provide you these 2 projects that we have worked on. And that brings to the end of this session. I hope you found it valuable and insightful. Remember, if you have any questions or need more personalized guidance, one-on-one, feel free to reach out. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.